The question is this better than brisket? I'm going to show you what it is, how we made it. Let's get into it. So we're going to get started by filling our charcoal basket up. We're going to be using some B&B lump charcoal, absolutely incredible stuff. So we'll get this started. So same process as usual. Just dig a couple of firelighters in there, light them up, and we'll let them go until our charcoal's ready. Right, so it's only been 5 minutes. Our firelighters have burnt out and our charcoal has caught light nicely. So what we'll do now is we'll close our lid, we'll open this vent up completely and also our top one, and we'll let our smoker start warming up, and we'll be back once we hit around the 225 Fahrenheit or 107-ish degrees Celsius. So while our smoker's coming up to temperature, we'll get the meat sorted. As you can see, this is a beautiful rack of beef short ribs. We're not going to smoke them like we normally do, so I'll show you how we're going to prepare them. So as usual, we'll take the top fat and silver skin off. Make sure you've got a nice sharp knife for this. As you can see, this Dow Strong utility knife just makes very light work of the trimming process. As you can see, I'm trying to pull the fat away so it's less pressure on the knife. The more pressure you can take off the knife, you greatly lower the risk of cutting yourself. All right, so we'll just turn it over and then we'll just go straight down like that. Just got a little bit to tidy up down here. And over this side. So we've got a beautiful trimmed rack of beef ribs. There's some awesome marbling in there. So what we're going to do now is bone it out. I like to start on the bone side. You can sort of peel it up like that. And then you want to run your knife hard up against the bone, and then we'll just take it all off in one piece. So now we need to trim this underside to the same standard as we've done the top. All right, we're all trimmed up. I'll show you what we'll do next. So I've smoked a boneless beef rib before and it's really good, but to make it great, we are going to roll it up to give it some volume. So we'll get started on that. All right, so we've got our boneless beef rib here. We're going to leave the top side underneath, and then we're going to start from the thinnest end, and we're just going to roll it up nice and tight, just like so. And then to secure it all in place, we're just going to tie it up with some butcher's string. So you want to get your string underneath like so, and then your tag end, we're going to go underneath, and then we're just going to make a loop like so, lock that off, and we're just going to put a reliance knot in the tag end just so it doesn't pull through, just like so, and then we're just going to tighten it up. See how it's pulling through on itself? Once it gets to that tag end, can't do it anymore. So that's really going to tighten up now. So that's nice and tight. And to lock it off, we're just going to do a loop, go around that, and lock that off like so. And now that can't come loose at all. And then we'll just snip the tag ends off. And then we'll just put 2 more here and here. So this is great if you've boned anything out or you've got a boneless roast, you can tie it up using this exact method. And there we have it. Beautiful marbling in there. Now let's get this seasoned up. So we're going to be using the combination of the Heavenly Hell pistol powder. We're going to lay some of that down first, and we'll top it off with our steak shooter. Right, so our smoker's just about at temperature. Let's get some smoking wood on. Right, so we've got a beautiful chunk of black wattle with a nice little chunk of cherry. Just going to get them straight on. Get our heat deflector in. Get our cooking grate on. And we'll put a temperature probe on our grate. I'll show you why in a sec. And then we'll get our beautiful little boneless rolled beef rib on. And then what we can do on the unit is you press enter into barbecue. You can set the temp you want it to be at. This is in Fahrenheit, so we're going to go for about 250 Fahrenheit. We'll press enter. We'll plug our probe in. That's what we're reading here. So on probe 1, we're at 178, 180. And once it sort of finds itself, you'll hear the fan kick in and it'll just pump the fan right into our intake vent, and then it will just keep pumping air until we get close to that temperature. Once it hits almost 250, it'll cut out. Then as it dips low, it'll cut back in, and so forth throughout the day. Now the connections they come with are more suited to your sliding sort of vents that you commonly see on Kamado barbecues, but you can actually make it work on the drum. So what you do is you just slide it up into the vent like so, just so you're blocking the whole vent. You can get some hose clamps and make a custom fitting yourself, but as you can see, That's nice and sealed off. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, but the fan is on super low at the moment. So that's just going to do its thing and hold us at around our target temperature for this cook. You can connect that unit to Wi-Fi. You can be out and about, you can check your temperatures, you can adjust them as well if you want. It comes with 2 extra meat probes, so you can put one in whatever you're cooking as well. So we're just gonna let this go for a while now. The beauty of this is I don't have to worry about any of my vents set up. This unit is gonna control them temperatures beautifully. I'll put a link down in the description if you're interested in one. And we'll leave this for around a couple of hours now, and we'll be back once we are happy with the bark and we're around that 160 Fahrenheit or 71 degrees Celsius internal. Right, so we are 3.5 hours in now. This temperature control unit has been amazing. It has stayed within 2 or 3 degrees of our target temperature. Really good stuff. Like I said, I'll put a link down in the description if you wanted to check it out. I've been spritzing our rolled beef rib every hour with some apple cider vinegar, but you can just use water or beef stock if you've got that. I reckon we'll be pretty close to our target internal temperature, and I reckon I'll be happy with the bark too. So let's have a look. So that is looking amazing. Our bark is set nicely. It's not coming off on our finger. So we are pretty much at our target internal. I've just got some beef tallow here, had that in the freezer, so it's still quite frozen. We're going to give that about 10 minutes to defrost before we wrap this thing up. All right, our tallow's ready. Let's get this wrapped up. And what I'm going to do, in each end of the beef rib, I'm going to pour some of this tallow in. Doesn't matter if it spills everywhere. Just give it a second to sort of seep in, underneath, and in the other end. Then we're going to pour it on top as well. Then we're going to wrap it up nice and tight. I'll fold the ends under, then we're going to put it back in. So if you don't have any beef tallow, feel free to use something like butter or a little bit of beef stock in the wrap. If I'm ever cooking a big brisket, I'll save all of those juices in a drip tray. I'll put it in the freezer, and then in the freezer, it separates into the beef tallow and the stock. And it's really easy to break apart once it's frozen in a container. So with our beef rib, we're just gonna let that go now until it's probing like butter around that 205 Fahrenheit or 96 degrees Celsius internal mark. I assume it's gonna take us another 2 hours or so to get there, but as always, I don't like putting a time on these things. I'd rather it be done earlier, that way I can rest it longer until it's ready to serve. Our main point of reference is going to be probe tenderness around that temperature guide we just spoke about. It may need to go a bit further, but I can't emphasize enough, probe tenderness is your main point of reference. So we'll be back soon. All right, this has been wrapped up for 2.5 hours now. We are at our target internal. So let's unwrap it and have a probe around. Just probing like butter. As you can see, we're right around that mark we want to be at. All right, we can get this out. And then we're going to leave it unwrapped for a couple of minutes just to stop the cooking process. And then we'll rest it in an esky or a cooler for our American friends and let it rest until we're ready to serve it in a couple of hours. All right, this has had a rest for an hour. Let's waste no more time. Let's cut this thing open. We'll have a look and then have a taste. Right, time for a taste. Oh, wow. That is incredible. They call beef ribs brisket on a stick for a reason. That is incredible. That is definitely up there with brisket. Definitely recommend trying that. So let us know what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.